So I'm listening to a song by Rich Mullins the other day, and this flood of memories comes back to me. Rich and I used to be friends. Now, we weren't best friends forever, but we had lunches together. We worked together. Matter of fact, in the late 70s, we started our careers together, helping a youth group in a little church in Tennessee. Well, the story I want to tell you is about a few years later. Early in the 80s, Rich made it. We knew he was going to become Rich Mullins one day, the guy who wrote Our God is an Awesome God and Step by Step and Sing Your Praise to the Lord. We knew Rich was going to be big, and he got big. Matter of fact, I helped him to record one of his first demo tapes that made it into the hands of Amy Grant, and the rest is history. Most of you know his music. He was amazing. Well, early 80s, I'm working as program director at First Broad Street United Methodist Church in Kingsport, Tennessee. And our youth director there, Margie Nichols, wanted to organize an area-wide youth group and wanted to do something big. And I said, well, would you like Rich Mullins to come by and sing? And they said, would we like to have Rich Mullins? Oh my goodness. Well, Rich was big then and had lots of hits on the radio and the whole deal. Well, they were just blown away by the fact that I had his number. Well, I called him, and sure enough, he showed up. When he showed up, of course, our social hall at the church was just packed full of kids. I'm glad the fire marshal never came by because there were no aisles. They just took all the chairs out finally, and the kids were just wall to wall seated on the floor there in the social hall. Rich finally made it. I say finally because he showed up late, and he explained that he had a bronchial thing going on, and he was on some pretty high-powered cough medicine. And my first thought was, oh no, Rich on cough medicine. That's kind of redundant because Rich was a little absent-minded anyway to begin with. So he started, kids on the floor, Rich up on the stage with just him and a grand piano, and of course Rich is long-haired and barefoot, and he goes into Our God is an Awesome God. Well, the kids were just electric in there. And he goes for about a minute and then begins to stumble on some lyrics. And he stopped and he said, you have to forgive me. I'm on cough medicine. I'm normally playing with the band, which is true. And he said, anybody know this song? Of course, all the hands went up. He said, what's the next line? And they yelled out the next line to him. He said, oh, yeah, right. Well, okay. He got back into the song, finished the song. Next song, same thing happens. But it doesn't happen once during the song, it happens twice. And finally, Rich says, do you all know these songs of mine? Oh, yeah, we know all the songs. He said, well, instead of me just sitting up here singing them myself, why don't we all sing them together? And they did. The whole concert. Every single song, every single line, every word. The kids were just, well, it was magic. It's magical. But I have to tell you, I was standing in the back of the room, leaning up against the wall, just embarrassed. I was wearing my suit and tie. I was the program director of First Broad Street United Methodist Church. And here's my friend Rich. He doesn't know the lyrics to his own songs. And I was frustrated. I thought to myself, how unprofessional. This was the early 80s. Long before kids all across the country began to gather together for praise and worship concerts at Disney and all over, standing up all day in the heat all evening with their hands up, singing along with the artists up on stage. This was before any of that. And back then, I didn't have eyes to see or ears to hear. But I was witnessing one of the very first praise and worship concerts. And it was magnificent. I just didn't have eyes to see and ears to hear. But Rich did. And the kids did.